Ok, xin chào các bạn đã đến với Nhật ký đất Mỹ nha. Đầu tiên xin chúc cho các bạn và gia đình được dồi dào sức khỏe và gặp nhiều may mắn trong cuộc sống nha các bạn, cũng như bước qua đầu năm 2024 được thật nhiều may mắn. Hôm nay mình sẽ đưa các bạn đến sở thú của thành phố San Diego của tiểu bang California nha các bạn. Ok, bây giờ chúng ta đã vào trong cái khu vực parking lot của cái sở thú San Diego này. Bây giờ mời các bạn cùng tham quan nha. Đây là khu vực parking lot rất là bao la các bạn, có thể chứa rất là nhiều xe cộ. Các bạn thấy kia là một chiếc xe bus màu xanh đó. Đó là một trong những chiếc xe bus sẽ chở du khách đi vòng quanh cái sở thú San Diego này. Tại vì cái sở thú này phạm vi rất là lớn các bạn. Nếu mà nói chúng ta lội bộ thì không biết cho đến bao giờ chúng ta mới lội cho giáp được cái sở thú này được. Cho nên nếu mà muốn nhìn qua nhiều cảnh xung quanh trong cái sở thú này thì chúng ta sẽ lên trên cái xe bus đó nha. Ok các bạn. Bây giờ thì chúng ta sẽ lên xe để họ sẽ đưa chúng ta đi tham quan xung quanh cái sở thú San Diego này nha các bạn. Ok, xin mời các bạn nha. Bây giờ chúng ta sẽ nghe cái người nữ sứ ngôn viên này nói chuyện nha các bạn.
Let's try it again. How are we all doing today? Alright. I'm glad everyone's nice and awake. I'm going to start off this tour by saying thank you guys so very much for joining us here on this beautiful sunny San Diego day. By walking in through one of our two front doors, you guys make it absolutely possible for us to strive for a world where all wildlife can thrive. So thank you guys. Y'all are considered superheroes in our eyes for being allies to wildlife. Here to the right we have our Flamingo Plaza with our beautiful flamingo statues. Behind that though we have our treetop way where you can find the lost forest, and in it are orangutans, gorillas napping, and monkeys climbing up high trees. Directly in front of us, up in the air, is going to be our Skyfari aerial tram. If you haven't taken it already, it is a part of your ticket, your one-day pass, your two-visit pass, or even your annual membership at any level. You get a beautiful bird's eye view here in Park Buffalo Park next door. We also have our Komodo Dragon Kingdom over there, our hummingbird habitat. Our reptile house, our tortoise area, with one of the tortoises being about 134 years old. 134 years old, sorry, my month keeps giving out. And then we also have our Wildlife Explorers Base Camp. Sure, we're all nice and safe as we go around the zoo. Please make sure to keep all your hands, feet, paws, claws, and your wings inside the vehicle the entire time. And absolutely no standing on any of the seats or the railings. Especially my people up on the second deck. There is a camera directly in front of you guys up there, so I can see everything y'all are doing up there. Y'all cannot be sneaky. Hi, how are you? Now we're going to be seeing about 70% of the 100 acres here, each Siberian, at 750, almost 800 pounds. Now, all tigers are endangered, unfortunately. It's not just affecting the Malayan tigers. It is also affecting the orangutans, and more so because those trees are homes. So if you want to continue to have your superhero powers outside of the zoo for being an ally to wildlife, look at your grocery list. Try your very best to stay away from palm oil or two different species of monkeys in here, the red tails and the swamp monkeys, because they're incredibly social, and this helps them with their enrichment. Now the swamp monkeys are known as fisher monkeys as they've learned how to fish. Here on the left we have some pink. We do have lots of spider webs. There are nature's Halloween decorations there. We do have our flamingos here. We have two different species of flamingos here. We have our lighter pink, which is our African flamingo, and the darker, usually the most vibrant. And usually the most vibrant out of all the flamingo species there is going to be our American flamingo. Next doors, we do have our African marsh birds. Through with the big number 2 right over here. This is going to be a bus stop for the Kangaroo Bus Express. You can actually walk amongst them over there or walk about Australia. Here, you guys will be the ones playing the kangaroos, hopping on and off the bus. And there's again that QR code at the front of your map. And it gives you a variety of our ambassador talks with our animals, or any of our presentations that we have around the zoo. It'll tell you where it's at and what time it'll be. On the left we have Highway 163, and you take that 30 miles north, you're going to end up our safari park out in Castillo. But back here at the zoo, as of right now, to have a pair of platypus outside of Australia. Thanks to the contributions from our donors and our visitors such as yourself, we were able to send our scientists and researchers to learn a little bit more about the platypus, as very little is actually known about them. On our right, we have our giant eel. I am behind a bush, so no. Oh man. Well, they are part-time workers, so they're probably taking a break. I'm just kidding. I will give you guys a bit of a fun fact. This is the aerial view of the habitat, but I still don't see any of our friends out and about. Now over on the right, we do have our Chacoan peccaries. They do kind of look like they resemble pupa, but they're not pups. Now, because of that, they've earned the nickname the living fossil. Now here's the other end of the Skyfari aerial tram, so if you take it from the bottom, this is where you guys are going to be exiting from. Beautiful bird's eye view of here and park at Balboa Park next door if no one's afraid of heights. On the left we have our habitat for our mountain at the top there. Oh, I see both up at the top of that rock there. Anywhere from northern Canada all the way down to South America. Because of this, they come in different shapes. Well, not shapes. They all come in French shapes, but we're not supposed to go into height. They all come in different sizes, and they have many different names for them. They can be known as mountain lion, or puma, or parti. There's many different names for them. Now, over on the right, we do have our 4D experience with our October special of Scoob, the 4D experience. Is $8 a person. Really? Now, our African lions are going to be up next here. But before we get to them, there's little creatures here on the left that I want you guys to take a look at. These guys look like furry. These little guys are not called furry potatoes, but they are called the South African rock hyrax. Look at them, study them for just a second. And judging by their appearance, this is the only time you guys are allowed to judge anybody by an appearance, okay? What do you guys think their closest living relative might be? Now, if you know the actual answer, let's let our friends guess real quick, okay? Can anyone shout out their closest guess? Say that again? A capybara. That's a good guess. Any other guesses? things before. I've heard like prairie dog or groundhog or hamster, capybara. I've even heard shark one time. I don't know why. Well, this is Miss Ellen, and she's, look at her go. She's balancing onto her pedestal. Don't fall. There you go. She's like, okay, fine. You guys can look at me this way. This is Miss Ellen. She does have a little brother in here as well. His name is Ernest. And they were both born over at the safari park. Uh-oh. Is everyone okay up there? Okay. They were born over at the safari park. They're about 30 years old in lion years, making them about 13 in human years. Now let's not whistle at them. They don't like it when we do that. Now these guys sleep about 16 hours a day. I wish I could sleep 16 hours a day. And that is because they conserve that energy to go. Now if you guys are here very early in the morning, I haven't been able to find her all day. But she blends in really well into the trees and into 2 and 1. Yeah, none of us are surviving in the wild because we can't see her anywhere. But she does really good at blending into the trees and into the tall grasses. But I will tell you guys, if you guys do see her, she is half the size of what a male usually is. But don't let that size of her fool you. She is to say that we should send jaguars over to Florida because they have a bit of a gator problem over there, if you ask me. Now we are entering elephant territory here. And we're going to see our any sorts of emergencies, big or small. And then we have these open down to their toes. The most fun thing that they do in here though is that they come in, they soak their feet, and they get pedicures. And I spot one of our gentle giants in the middle here. And I believe this is Nepo. This is one of our boys here. You can tell by his one tusk. And Nepo and Zundu like all siblings, like to tussle around and do their sibling rivalry. Nepo and Zundu are 12 and 13 years old. And be wiggling those chains underneath, and then the hay will just come out. But meanwhile, this man is like, no thank you, I'm just going to pull it out from the top here. But looks like he did get some out that way. But that is Zunzu there. Now, I just recently went to a whole other way of experiencing our elephant nest. They're expanding it all together to add more space for our elephants. As we're getting a lot of baby elephants over there, so they definitely need the extra space. But they're even building a restaurant that's going to be overlooking the elephant area. So definitely go back in a couple of years. They're going to be opening in 2020. Here is going to be our California condor. Before we get to him though, let's get over this way so that we can let our kangaroo bus pass us by so we can spend a few minutes at the condors. Now, half of that has been reintroduced into the wild in areas such as like the Grand Canyon and national parks. They have a 10-foot wingspan. Let me put that into perspective for you guys. That is wider than this bus here, from one tip of the feather to the other. We have one up at the perch here. And yes, they do have little crow friends hanging out with them as well.
Wow.
Now, there's a bird right over here. There should be one more condor in there somewhere. Oh, there he is. I can see him. He's also on the perch. But here's the fun thing that I absolutely love when it comes to the California condor. Something we ended up discovering here at the San Diego Zoo. In 2001, a female laid an egg that we did not think was going to hatch because the males and the females were separated at the time. But that egg still hatched anyways. And we're like, okay, which one of the sneaky males came in here and finished the process? We're gonna have a Who's the Father episode for Maury Condor Edition. We DNA tested everybody, we DNA tested the babies, and the baby came back 100% mom's DNA, which means she cloned herself into her egg. And that is something that only reptiles are known for. They can clone themselves into their offspring in order to continue their gene pool. Birds are not known for this. Now, we're like, okay, this is just a glitch in the matrix. We're never going to see this again. You know, it happened again in 2009 with a whole different other female, again, cloning herself into her egg. That is absolutely fascinating that a bird can do. Now we are passing Jupiter Hornbill, who's hanging out on the bottom there. We do have two little young. And over here we have the Ethiopian Highland. While this is the botanical side of Africa rock, so while there may not be a whole lot of grow up to 150. It is a terminal bloomer though, so whenever it does get pretty flowers at the top, that means it's at the end of its life there. Beautiful tree, but not something you want to have in your own backyard, as it is a massive tree. Also inside the Ethiopian Highlands, you'll find my family, the baboons, hanging out in there, and all their shenanigans. Now we are entering Sydney's swamp. Our cheetahs, giraffes, and our koalas. Now on the left here we have the Sydney shop here, but we also have the pedestrian path that leads you back to the front. But also our Tasmanian devils are in here and our wombats. Here's a little fun fact about the wombat. When the wombat goes number 2, goes poo-poo, and come out looking like little cubes. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why, but just what they do. They little cube poos. Now we're going down Center Street, which we like to call Bear Canyon. Blue is a sloth bear. So I think our sloth bear friend is on the other side over here, so we're gonna go over here. Oh yeah, they are over here. So we had to look for some black fur, that is them. We have our sloth bear right there. Now there is no actual relation to the actual sloth, just a lot of the characteristics that they carry. So like the texture of the fur, the long arms, the long neck, the 3-inch claws on their front paws, and they're the only ones, the only bear species that was adorable and completely safe to approach. These guys are very territorial, so much so that they will square up with a tiger. They have a cave. They came over from Yellowstone. And these guys have some really bad.
Rất mong các bạn sẽ cho mình một cái like, share, một cái subscribe cũng như một cái comment để ủng hộ tinh thần cho những cái video sắp tới. Và nếu mà mình có những gì sơ sót thì mình có thể cải thiện để cho cái video nó tốt đẹp hơn cho các bạn xem nha. Cảm ơn các bạn.
Tried to relocate them twice, but because they came back a third time, they asked us to please give them a better quality of life. They came when they were about 10 months old, and now look at him. Oh no, he's changing his mind. Are you gonna take a dip, buddy? Let's see if he gets it. No, he's just drinking the water. But alrighty then. Endangered bears out of all the bear species, however. If you guys have ever seen Paddington Bear, and you know him with his raincoat and hat. Paddington Bear was modeled one of the most endangered bears out of all the bear species, but we do have baby bears. So we have a little one on the hammock up there, and then another one down here with Mama. I can't really tell which is which. But we do have Mama Bear, her name is Alba.
Chúng ta sẽ thấy một
And then
baby
we
bear.
have one of the babies on the hammock and one of the babies
Rất
down
là
at the
nhiều ạ.
bottom. The markings around their
Mấy giờ
eyes
sinh ra đó nha các bạn.
have earned them the nickname the Spectacle Bear, because it looks like they're wearing spectacles around their eyes. Now this is how you can tell them apart. Suyana, the little girl whose name means hope, she's got a deep V into her eyes. There's a little deep V in her eyes. And then Francisco, the little boy whose name means Francisco, I call him Francis sometimes, he's got a straight line in between his eyes. Though that is Francisco and Suyana. She's, I don't know which one's on top. Just takes it away. Now, like I mentioned, these guys are going to be one of the most endangered bears out of all the bear species, and unfortunately,
ngay trong thảo cầm viên San Diego này, chúng ta thấy cũng có những cái khu vực tại đây để bán đồ ăn, thức uống cho du khách nữa nha các bạn.
there are elevators underneath this bridge here that'll take you back into the lost forest, so you guys don't have to hike all the way back up that hill. Now over here is the entrance to Outer. Now, you know, when we think of penguins, we automatically think of the cold and the snow and cavity. And only 4 different species of penguin live in those freezing cold. The rest of them are like our South African friend here, whose climate in South Africa is exactly like we have here in San Diego. Now, before I get into that, I do see a couple of lemurs at the top of the rock here. They're a rare sight to see from up here. So we have a little black lemur and a little tan lemur right there. Now, for our penguins, our penguins are unfortunately, the numbers are declining due to not just the overfishing, but also because of the loss of their habitat. These guys make their homes out of their own guano, and humans are unfortunately coming in and taking that guano and using it to fertilize their plants or their crops. So what the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance is doing is we are creating artificial homes for them. We did this with our own burrowing owl here in our own backyard, and we made artificial homes for them, presented them to them. Not all of them were accepted, which was okay because they didn't like all the material that was being used. And that is how we learn what they like, what they don't like. And now we're starting to see that the burrowing owl numbers are slowly increasing once again. And we're hoping that this is the exact same effect with our South African penguins, because they do need to regrow in numbers again. Now keep an eye out on the right. Each one of these trees inside this habitat here is a koala tree. These are our bachelor trees. So if you see a koala, those koala dogs definitely knocked that down to a fraction, and we were able to rescue so many of them.
Trong cái khu thảo cầm viên của San Diego này thì rất là rộng lớn, cho nên chúng ta thấy dọc theo các cái lối đi ở vòng vòng ở trong cái thảo cầm viên này, chúng ta thấy có rất là nhiều cái cửa hàng bán đa số là thực phẩm ăn uống và những cái đồ lưu niệm, rất là nhiều dọc theo những cái lối đi bộ này đó nha các bạn.
Oh, that got cut off.
Yeah.
Okay, you want it? Oh, you want to do it? Everyone give it to me. Baby, you want everybody? Go ahead. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You guys go ahead first. You guys we'll catch up. Go get the stroller.
Bây giờ thì chúng ta đang ở trên cái tầng up level, tất nhiên là cái tầng trên đó nha các bạn. Và ở phía dưới của chúng ta còn có một cái tầng ở dưới, là cái tầng ở dưới mặt đất đó các bạn. Để mình video cho các bạn xem. Đây là cái tầng ở phía dưới này nha. Chúng ta thì đang đứng ở trên cái upper level. Chúng ta thấy ở đây có một chú khỉ. Chú khỉ này có vẻ hơi buồn bã, là chắc có lẽ là tại vì không được sống ở ngoài thiên nhiên hoang dã, mà phải sống ở trong cái khu vực thảo cầm viên này, có người chăm sóc, quản lý. Cho nên chúng ta thấy tất cả cái gì cũng không bằng tự do hết, phải không các bạn?
I'm at the zoo right now, dude. And give them, I'll be like, at the zoo right now. Mommy, San Diego. Yeah. The San Diego Zoo.
Các bạn thấy ở phía dưới có những người ta rất là ung dung thư thả dạo chơi ở cái tầng phía dưới đó nha các bạn. Rất là mát, rất là nhiều cây cối. Nếu các bạn nào ở trong khu vực California này thì rất là thoải mái. Cuối tuần chúng ta có thể đưa thân nhân gia đình đi dạo trong cái khu Sandiego thảo cầm viên này. Rất là mát mẻ và thoải mái đó nha các bạn. Còn nếu như các bạn nào sống cách xa California này thì thỉnh thoảng nếu chúng ta có dịp đến California thì chúng ta cũng nên ghé qua thảo cầm viên Sandiego này một lần cho biết qua. Vì cái thảo cầm viên này rất là lớn, đứng vào hàng lớn hàng đầu của nước Mỹ cũng như của thế giới đó các bạn. Bây giờ thì chúng ta sẽ bước qua cái khu vực nuôi chim nha. Đây họ nuôi rất là nhiều loại chim khác nhau các bạn. Còn đây là một baby anaconda đó các bạn. Loại rắn khổng lồ. Đây là những chú gorilla. Tiếng Việt chúng ta gọi là những cái con dã nhân đó nha các bạn.
Parece que tiene sus gorros, ¿no?
trong thảo cầm viên San Diego này chúng ta cũng có ngay cả những cái cáp treo. Nếu mà khi đến đây các bạn nào thích thì có thể ngồi trên đó để nó di chuyển. Chúng ta có thể từ trên cao nhìn xuống cái khu vực cái thảo cầm viên San Diego này nữa nha các bạn. Đây các bạn nhìn thấy, ngồi trên cáp treo để nhìn xuống, gió mát rất là thoải mái ha. Bây giờ để mình review lại cho các bạn xem một lần nữa. Đây là cái tầng upper, tất nhiên là cái tầng trên, cái lối đi trên của cái thảo cầm viên San Diego này đó các bạn. Và mình review những cái khung cảnh ở dưới cho các bạn xem nè. Các bạn thấy ở phía dưới kia là cái tầng dưới ở phía dưới mặt đất nha. Các bạn thấy mọi người dạo chơi mát mẻ và rất là thoải mái. Ok, hôm nay mình xin dừng cái video ở đây. Nếu có thể thì xin các bạn cho mình một cái like, share, subscribe để ủng hộ tinh thần cho những cái video sắp tới. Và cho mình một cái comment để nếu mà trong video có những cái gì sơ sót thì mình có thể cải thiện tốt đẹp hơn cho những cái video sắp tới để cho các bạn xem nha. Một lần nữa xin thành thật cảm ơn các bạn và xin hẹn các bạn ở những cái video sắp tới nha các bạn. Xin chào các bạn. Bye bye.